Within you right now is a treasury of riches beyond all human estimation. It is not locked away in some distant heaven, nor hidden in some inaccessible corner of the world. It is present where you are, closer to you than your breathing, nearer than your hands and feet. This infinite wealth is not made of gold or silver, but of ideas, inspiration, health, love, abundance, peace, and joyous living. The infinite mind within you is the source of all, and it is limitless, boundless, and ever ready to pour itself forth into your experience according to your belief. Many search outside themselves for the good they desire, chasing after the shadows of wealth, status, or possessions, believing that by accumulating more from the outer world, they will find peace and fulfillment. Yet the great truth of life is that all you seek already exists within you. The infinite mind that spoke galaxies into existence, that formed the mountains and set the stars to singing, dwells within you and waits patiently for your recognition. It seeks expression through you, to bless you, to heal you, to prosper you, to lift you into the fullness of joy. This infinite mind is not diminished by your past mistakes, nor is it confined by your present circumstances. It is untouched by your fears, unaltered by your doubts, and unimpressed by appearances. It knows only abundance, expansion, and perfect expression. It is the creative spirit that responds immediately and directly to the thoughts and feelings you impress upon it. When you turn inward and align yourself with its limitless nature, you tap into a power greater than any obstacle, a wisdom deeper than any confusion, a love stronger than any seeming separation. The riches of the infinite are not things you must earn by toil or suffering. They are gifts of grace, waiting only for your acceptance. Just as the sun pours its light freely upon all who turn toward it, the infinite pours its blessings freely upon all who open their hearts to receive. You are not required to plead or beg. You are required only to recognize and claim. You are not a beggar at the gates of life. You are a beloved heir, and the treasure house of the universe is already yours by divine right. Every idea you will ever need, every answer to every problem, every inspiration that will lead you forward is already contained within the infinite mind at the center of your being. It is not added to you from the outside. It unfolds from within you as you lift your thought to the truth of your being. When you know, truly know, that the infinite is within you, you walk through life with a new confidence, a new serenity, a new joyous expectancy. You are no longer driven by fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of loss. You know that the source of all good is anchored within you, and that it can never be depleted. You may be surrounded by appearances of difficulty, limitation, or lack, but these are merely the shadows cast by old patterns of thought. They have no power over you except that which you give them. When you turn your attention away from appearances and focus instead upon the boundless wealth of the infinite within, you begin to dissolve the shadows and bring forth the reality of your divine heritage. What you dwell upon, you magnify. What you recognize within, you experience without. The infinite mind does not recognize limits. It does not know obstacles. It sees only perfect expression, boundless life, endless good. When you align your thought with the nature of the infinite, when you claim its riches as your own, when you feel deeply the truth of your oneness with the creative power of the universe, you set in motion forces unseen but mighty. New ideas begin to flow, new doors begin to open, new strength rises up within you. You are guided, you are prospered, you are healed, you are made whole, not by the fickle currents of outer conditions, but by the steady, eternal tide of the infinite unfolding from within you. Faith is the key that unlocks the hidden treasures within your soul. It is the invisible bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the ideal and its manifestation, between the dream and its fulfillment. Without faith, the riches of the infinite mind within you remain dormant, like seeds lying in the ground without water or sunlight. With faith, those same seeds awaken, break open, push through the soil, and blossom into beauty and abundance in your outer life. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is not idle hoping. It is the deep inner knowing that what you have accepted as true in your heart must express itself outwardly in your experience. Faith is the quiet certainty that the invisible pattern you hold in mind will be clothed in the visible substance of life. It is the firm assurance that the good you seek is already present within the infinite, waiting only for your acceptance to move into form. When you possess faith, you are not disturbed by appearances. You are not shaken by delays. You are not defeated by seeming obstacles. You know that the power that created the universe is working through you, and you trust the silent processes of the mind to bring your desires to pass. Faith is the conviction that the substance of life responds to your thought, that what you consistently believe in your heart must be reflected in the mirror of your environment. It is not enough to merely repeat affirmations if you do so without belief. The subconscious mind responds not to empty words, but to the emotional conviction behind the words. You must feel the truth of what you declare. You must mentally and emotionally accept your good as already yours. When you affirm with faith, you are planting a living seed in the soil of consciousness, and the law of life ensures its growth and fruition. Faith is the light that guides you through the valleys of doubt. It is the strength that carries you across the seeming deserts of delay. It is the inner assurance that even when you see no evidence, even when the outer world seems unchanged, the silent forces are working in your favor. Like a wise gardener who trusts the process of growth unseen beneath the soil, you trust that the infinite mind, responding to your faith, is bringing forth the harvest in perfect season. Many people falter because they allow appearances to dictate their belief. They pray for abundance but continue to believe in lack. They affirm health but continue to fear disease. They seek love but continue to feel unworthy. They are double-minded, and the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Faith demands singleness of thought. It asks you to turn away from all that contradicts your vision and to hold steadfastly to the truth you have claimed within. Faith does not mean forcing or struggling. It is not the frantic effort to make something happen by sheer will. Faith is the quiet, confident resting in the knowledge that the infinite is fulfilling your desire according to its perfect wisdom and timing. It is the calm assurance that the moment you accept your good in consciousness, you have set the creative forces of the universe into motion, and that their fulfillment is as inevitable as the dawn after the night. Even when outer results seem delayed, even when appearances seem stubborn, hold fast to your inner conviction. Every claim made in faith sends out a silent command to the universe, and the forces of life begin to organize themselves in response. People, circumstances, ideas, and events move, often unseen at first, to bring about the fulfillment of what you have accepted within. The law of mind is impersonal and infallible. It does not play favorites. It responds to the nature of your claim. Claim health with faith, and health must manifest. Claim abundance with faith, and abundance must manifest. Claim love, peace, joy, success, and all the good your heart desires, and by the eternal law of life, these must come into form, pressed down, shaken together, and running over doubt and fear are the great blockers of the treasures of life. They are the invisible walls that stand between you and the good that already exists within the infinite mind. They are the thieves of dreams, the silencers of vision, the unseen forces that delay, obstruct, and at times completely derail the unfolding of the wonderful things you have claimed in faith. Doubt whispers that your good may not come. Fear insists that the worst is yet to happen. They clothe themselves in logic, in reason, in caution, and if you do not guard your mind with vigilance, they creep in and settle, taking root and choking out the seeds of faith you have so lovingly planted. The subconscious mind, impartial and obedient, receives not only your affirmations of truth, but also your acceptance of fear and doubt if you allow them to dominate. It does not argue. It does not reason. It does not select between good or bad. It simply acts on the emotionalized ideas impressed upon it most consistently. When you repeatedly entertain thoughts of doubt, when you give in to fears about failure, loss, sickness, or limitation, you are impressing these patterns into your subconscious just as surely as if you were affirming them aloud. Life then proceeds to mirror these inner states in the outer conditions you meet. Doubt weakens your mental image. It pokes holes in your vision. It saps the strength of your affirmations. Every time you waver, every time you wonder if your good will really come to pass, you disturb the invisible creative processes already set in motion by your earlier acts of faith. You pull up the tender seedlings before they can take root. You interrupt the silent workings of the infinite mind that was already shaping and guiding circumstances on your behalf. Doubt is not an innocent thought. It is a force that carries consequences, for the law of mind knows no neutrality. It brings forth according to what is impressed upon it, whether that be faith or fear. Fear magnifies what you do not want. Fear paints vivid pictures on the canvas of your mind, and if these pictures are not immediately erased, they harden into forms. Fear draws to you the very things you dread, for where your attention goes, energy flows, and what you energize with emotion must move toward manifestation. Fear causes you to contract, to hesitate, to step back from opportunities. It blinds you to possibilities. It shuts the door on the infinite channels through which your good could flow. It creates a climate within you that is inhospitable to growth, creativity, and healing. You cannot entertain fear and faith at the same time. You cannot affirm abundance while secretly fearing poverty. You cannot declare health while trembling at the thought of disease. You must choose which master you will serve. Fear and doubt are the old voices, the remnants of the lower self, the echoes of past conditioning that believed more in appearances than in the infinite power within. Faith is the new voice, the song of your higher self, the whisper of truth that tells you all things are possible to him who believes. When fear and doubt knock at the door of your mind, you are not required to invite them in. You are not obligated to accept their counsel. You can recognize them for what they are: old habits, old shadows, old lies, and gently but firmly return your focus to your faith. You can reaffirm the truth of your being. You can mentally and emotionally stand firm in the vision of your good already accomplished. You can choose to water the seeds of faith rather than the weeds of fear. Persistent fear produces persistent limitation. Persistent faith produces persistent fulfillment. The creative forces of life are always moving, always responding, always flowing toward the patterns you hold within. If you hold fear, they move toward the fulfillment of your fears. If you hold faith, they move toward the realization of your dreams. The choice is always yours, the mind is yours, the focus is yours. The garden of your consciousness will bring forth according to the seeds you plant and nurture. And you alone are the sower and the keeper of that sacred ground. Living in faith is living in harmony with the divine order that governs all creation. It is stepping into the flow of life rather than struggling against it. It is recognizing that there is an invisible intelligence guiding the planets in their orbits, causing the seasons to change, directing the tides, forming the seed into the towering oak. And it is this same intelligence that breathes through you, moves through you, and desires to express itself fully and perfectly through every aspect of your life. When you live in faith, you are no longer trying to make life happen by force or manipulation. You are no longer driven by fear, by urgency, by the false belief that everything depends on your limited human effort. Instead, you place your trust in the silent but unfailing laws that govern the universe, knowing that as you align your thoughts and feelings with the truth of your being, the outer world must, by law, conform. Faith tunes you to the frequency of divine intelligence. It is like setting the dial of your inner radio to the station broadcasting abundance, health, love, and peace. When you live in faith, you are tuned into the creative flow of the infinite. You hear the inner guidance more clearly. You sense the right actions to take. You recognize the doors that are meant to be opened and the paths that are meant to be followed. You are no longer confused, no longer caught in the web of conflicting appearances, because your heart is anchored in a deeper knowing. You trust the process of life, even when the way is not fully visible, because you know that unseen forces are arranging circumstances, moving people, aligning resources, and weaving a tapestry of good far greater than anything you could construct by yourself. Living in faith means affirming the good, even when appearances suggest otherwise. It means standing firm in the unseen reality of your desire, trusting that the substance of things hoped for is already yours in the invisible, and must, by the unchanging laws of mind, become yours in the visible. It means refusing to be swayed by temporary setbacks, delays, or seeming obstacles, recognizing that these are but ripples on the surface, and that the deep current of life is carrying you steadily forward toward your fulfillment. It is knowing that divine timing is always perfect, that nothing is ever lost, that no opportunity that is truly yours can be taken from you, and that every detour, every seeming delay, is but a step in the perfect unfolding of your greater good. Faith frees you from the need to struggle and strive. It frees you from the endless worry, the anxious pushing, the exhausting effort to control every detail. It lifts you into a higher vibration, a place of ease and receptivity. When you live in faith, you become a magnet for good. You attract to yourself the people, the ideas, the opportunities that resonate with the vision you hold. You walk in step with the rhythm of life, and you find that life begins to support you, to carry you, to unfold before you in ways that seem effortless and miraculous. Living in faith aligns you not only with your personal good, but with the larger good of all. It brings you into harmony with the creative principle of the universe, the law of life that is always seeking greater expression, greater expansion, greater fulfillment. When you live in faith, you become an instrument of this divine purpose. Your success contributes to the success of others. Your healing radiates healing to those around you. Your abundance becomes a blessing not only to yourself, but to all whose lives you touch. You are no longer living merely for yourself. You are living as a channel through which the infinite goodness of life can flow freely and abundantly into the world. Faith transforms your perception. You no longer see yourself as a separate, struggling being in a hostile world. You see yourself as a beloved child of the infinite, supported by a universe that is friendly, abundant, and responsive. You realize that you are never alone, never unsupported, never without help. You know that even in moments of darkness, the light is still guiding you, and that even when you seem to stumble, you are being gently led to something greater, something higher, something more beautiful than you had dared to imagine. The key to building unshakable faith is repetition, feeling, and persistence. Each day, you water the seeds of your desire with the living waters of belief. Each time you visualize your goal with joy and gratitude, you strengthen your faith. Each time you act as if your prayer were already answered, you reinforce the conviction that brings it into being. In this way, faith becomes not just a momentary emotion, but a living atmosphere in which you dwell, a constant inner climate that nurtures your dreams into reality. The subconscious mind, vast and powerful beyond human understanding, does not respond to the surface chatter of idle words. It is not moved by hollow affirmations recited without feeling. It is not stirred by mechanical repetition or the mere sound of the voice. It listens instead to the silent language of conviction, to the deep undercurrents of belief, to the emotional acceptance of truth felt in the heart. It responds to what you truly believe, What you inwardly accept, what you emotionally embrace as real, whether that belief serves you or limits you. When you declare, I am prosperous, yet feel lack and limitation gnawing at the roots of your soul, it is the feeling of lack that the subconscious accepts and magnifies. When you affirm, I am healthy, but inwardly tremble at every symptom, it is the fear, not the affirmation, that impresses the deeper mind. The subconscious is not deceived by mere lip service. It bypasses the outer words and goes straight the emotional truth held within. It always acts upon what you feel to be true, not necessarily what you would like to be true. This is why it is said that feeling is the secret. Feeling gives life to thought. Feeling makes thought real to the subconscious mind. When you think with deep conviction, with unwavering belief, with the full emotional acceptance of your good, you plant seeds in the fertile soil of the subconscious that must, by the laws of mind, grow into visible form. There is no uncertainty, no maybe, no wavering in this law. The subconscious always says yes to the emotionalized blueprint you present to it. Your life experience, when observed carefully, always reveals the convictions you have planted within yourself. It is a living mirror reflecting the dominant beliefs you have accepted consciously or unconsciously. If confusion, lack, discord, and my loved one, limitation here appear in your life, they are not punishments from an external power, but the natural results of seeds of doubt, fear, or resentment sown in the subconscious. Likewise, when abundance, love, peace, and fulfillment blossom around you, they bear witness to the seeds of faith, love, and confidence that you have nourished within. The great work of life is to align your conscious thought and feeling with the good you seek, so that there is no contradiction between what you affirm outwardly and what you accept inwardly. This is done not by force, but by gentle persistence, by filling your mind daily with the images, thoughts, and feelings that correspond to your highest vision. You train yourself to think from the end, to live from the reality you wish to experience, to walk by faith and not by sight. It is not necessary to struggle to impress subconscious. Struggle only affirms resistance. Quiet conviction, steady assurance, and embracing my loved one, calm expectancy are the true means by which you communicate with the deeper mind. Just as water wears away stone not force but by persistence, so does calm, repeated conviction penetrate the subconscious and bring about transformation. Speak the word of truth within yourself, not in desperation, but in serene certainty. Feel the reality of your desire as present now, and your subconscious will take up the idea and work ceaselessly to bring it into expression. Understand that the subconscious does not argue. It does not reason in the way the conscious mind reasons. It simply accepts and acts upon the impressions given to it with feeling and repetition. If you constantly tell yourself that you are strong, successful, loving, and divinely guided, and if you do so with heartfelt belief, your subconscious will organize your inner and outer world to reflect those truths. If you nourish feelings of defeat, failure, or fear, even if unintentionally, those too will be impressed and expressed. It is not enough to speak the words, you must feel their truth. It is not enough to wish for change, you must inwardly accept the reality of change. When your thought and feeling are unified in conviction, the subconscious responds with power. The changes you seek begin within, where no eye can see, but they unfailingly find their way into the light of day, shaping your experiences, guiding your steps, and molding your destiny according to the pattern you have etched upon the hidden mind. Whatever you claim in faith must manifest, for it is the unchanging law of life that what you accept mentally and emotionally as true is impressed upon the subconscious mind and moves steadily toward outward expression. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the unseen cause that precedes every visible effect. Faith is not merely an idea or a philosophy. It is the inner certainty that what you have accepted within, even without a shred of outer evidence, is already real in the unseen and must, by divine law, become real in the scene? When you claim your good with unwavering conviction, when you accept your desire as fulfilled in the inner realms of consciousness, the creative power of the subconscious mind takes up your idea and begins to work tirelessly to externalize it. You may not see the movement at first, just as the seed planted in the earth shows no visible sign of growth during its early stages. Yet below the surface, silent, orderly processes are at work, pushing roots downward and shoots upward, preparing for the moment when the manifestation breaks into the light. The law of mind does not concern itself with appearances. It does not ask whether your desire seems possible based on your current circumstances. It does not consider the opinions of others, the statistics, or the limitations of the world around you. It responds only to the emotional acceptance of your good within yourself. What you consistently claim with faith externalize, because the subconscious, once impressed, must act according to its nature, which is to express whatever it receives with feeling and persistence. Of one, to claim something in faith is to live inwardly in the reality of your desire, even while the outer senses deny it. It is to walk by the light of the inner vision rather than by the evidence of the eyes. It is to feel rich while outer appearances suggest lack. It is to feel healthy while the body still struggles. It is to feel loved while loneliness still echoes. When you claim your good in faith, you are not pretending or denying reality. You are acknowledging a deeper reality, a higher law, a greater truth that transcends what the senses can perceive. Many falter because try to claim their good only with words. Without the corresponding emotional conviction, they say, "I am prosperous," but inwardly feel anxious and doubtful. They affirm, "I am healed," but inwardly continue to worry and fear. True claiming is a full acceptance, a full emotional embodiment of the truth you wish to see expressed. It is a feeling of deep gratitude, of certainty, of knowing that the unseen is as real and present as the seen. Every time you claim your good in faith, you build a new pattern in the subconscious mind. You establish a new blueprint. And just as an architect's blueprint determines the form and structure of the building to come, so your inner blueprint, created by the steady claiming of your good, determines the experiences, opportunities, and events that appear in your life. You do not have to concern yourself with the how. The creative intelligence of the subconscious knows infinitely more ways to bring your desire into being than your conscious mind can conceive. Your task is to maintain your claim, to nurture it with faith, to live in the feeling of its fulfillment, and to trust the process.